What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Mets Central, and today I'm going to be doing something different, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail. I'm going to do what pisses everybody off and do my 2024 MLB predictions. Take this with a grain of salt, please, if you're a fan of another team. There's really not much to take away from this. It's my predictions. They'll probably end up being wrong because I am wrong quite often in terms of predictions. Like, for instance, with hockey, I had the Boston Bruins in 7th. That's obviously not the case right now, and there are times where I am right and it does piss people off, so it goes both ways. This is just me doing it for fun, so don't take any offense if I do sleep on your team, maybe, because if they end up proving me wrong, hey, then more power to them and good for them. So before I jump into everything, though, leave a like here on the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you are a Mets fan, because I'm going to cover them heavily, of course, throughout the season, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. But let's kick things off with the AL East. I'm going to speed run this because I'm going to be doing a lot of predictions in this. In last place, I have the Boston Red Sox. I just think that their pitching is simply not good enough to be anything better than a 500 team. Maybe they could be a little over 500, but they're going to need guys from their lineup then to have bigger years, like Trevor Story. He's going to need to bounce back. Same with O'Neill. On paper, their lineup's not horrible, but again, it's really that pitching. Losing Giolito does blow for them. I'm really surprised they didn't go in on Montgomery, especially at the price point that he ended up signing for. But regardless, I have the Red Sox as the last place team. Coming in 4th place in the AL East, I don't like this because I hate sleeping on this team, but I have the Tampa Bay Rays. And the reason why I have them in 4th is because they're missing a certain someone, and we saw it impact their lineup quite a bit. And I'm not going to even mention him because he's a scumbag of a person. But their lineup is still not bad. They have guys like Rosarena, of course, Diaz, Paredes, and they have solid pitching. Like, the pitching is not really the question for me. I love Eflin. I think Savali's going to give them good starts. And it's the Rays. They find something from nothing with pitching. So you can't even really question the pitching in general. It's really just the lineup where I question how much they could do, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rays prove me wrong and finish in 2nd. I just feel if there's ever a year they're going to fall back in the division, it would be this year given the roster. But again, they always surprise us, and if they end up proving me wrong, I will never sleep on the Rays ever again, but I'm going to sleep on them for the first time, and I really don't feel good about it. But coming in 3rd place, I have the Toronto Blue Jays, and very underwhelming offseason considering what started off with what could have been so much promise. They were in on some big free agents like Ohtani, and we, of course, saw the plane thing not end up being real, but they end up getting Justin Turner and Joey Votto, which those guys are older now, and I think they're going to be solid adds for them, but still nothing too crazy. And then IKF, decent little bench piece, but outside of that, I mean, their lineup is kind of, it's pretty solid. Like, you love Vlad, you like Bichette. Springer's got to stay healthy and be a bit better. Kiermaier's he going to be able to swing the bat the way he did last year? Their pitching is what I love the most, though, about this team. Gosman, Bassett, Barrios, solid 1, 2, 3 there. And then Kikuchi's going to be a solid back end of the rotation piece. The question is, will Manoah be better? If he is better, that's going to help this team win a lot more games as well. But I have them in 3rd place in the division. Coming in 2nd, I have the New York Yankees, which might be a hot take with Cole missing time, but this lineup I still feel is good enough to squeeze out a lot of wins. Like, the fact that a couple years ago, at one point, they had Domingo Germán get 10 plus wins in the season. Yeah, I think that they'll be able to get a good amount of wins with Marcus Stroman on the bump. I don't like Carlos Rodon that much. He's got to bounce back, though. He can't be as bad as he was, right? And then they have Clark Schmidt. He'll go out there every 5th day and put them in a position to win baseball games. Nestor Cortez, he's got to be better, though. And Cole still will give them big impact starts, of course. And they add Juan Soto to this team. Verdugo, I don't love the ad there, but Rizzo's going to bounce back. I think Stanton's going to be a solid piece for the Yankees as well. I know a lot of people, I should say a lot of people, because Yankee fans, of course, are not down on this team. But a lot of outside fans are down on this Yankees team. Maybe it's just the Met fan in me that has just seen it too much and that is paranoid, but I just think they're the 2nd best team in that division right now. Wouldn't surprise me, though, if, like, I think 2 through 4 are very interchangeable, personally, and I wouldn't argue if anybody felt differently. But to me, the best team in the division is the Baltimore Orioles. They add Corbin Burns to what they had last year, and Jackson Holiday's going to come up. It's just such a good team. Losing Felix Bautista is going to suck for that back end of the bullpen, but they add Craig Kimbrell, which I don't love him, but it's still a piece there. And then they still have Cano, who is solid. And I mean, you like the lineup too. Like I said, Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holliday is going to come up, Adley Rutschman, and they have a couple other prospects that will come up. I think the Baltimore Orioles are easily the best team in that division. We move on though to the AL Central division, and I might have a bit of hot takes in terms of how this division goes, but I'm going to just shoot it. And coming in last place, it's going to be the White Sox. So I think they're easily the worst team in that division. The fact that Eric Fetty's projected to be the guy to eat the most innings for that White Sox rotation is a problem. They have Luis Robert and nothing else in that lineup. Benintendi, maybe he could be better. But Paul DeYoung, gross. Nicky Lopez, Andrew Vaughn, Maldonado, Eloy, maybe he'll be solid for them. But their pitching is just arguably the worst pitching staff in baseball outside of maybe the Oakland A's. But yeah, they're easily the 5th place team. Coming in 4th, this is where I have a hot take, which I was mentioning. I have the Cleveland Guardians, and I know that it's probably crazy to say that they're going to be bad because on paper, they're not even that bad of a team in terms of, like I said, just looking at them. You like Clase, you like Bieber, you like Bybee, McKenzie's going to be on the mound again, and then you have guys like J-Ram, Kwan, Jimenez should be in for a better year, and then you have both Naylor brothers, but so like I question a lot of guys in the lineup outside of guys like Ramirez, who's a sure thing. Kwan, I think, will be solid, like I said, and then Naylor as well. You question the rest of the lineup, and the pitching is just meh outside of who I mentioned. Like Carlos Carrasco is going to be out there for them, which as a Met fan, I wish you luck. So they're the 4th place team. Coming in 3rd place, though, in the AL Central, I have the Kansas City Royals, which I think they had a sneaky good offseason. I like the additions of Waka and Lugo to what they already have with Singer and Reagans in that rotation. And I think their lineup is sneaky good. I like Pasquantino. I like Bobby Witt. I like Renfroe. And Salvi, he's still going to be solid. And they have a couple of other pieces that will come up for them. I think they're a very sneaky good team. For all we know, they end up in the World Series and win it because they had Will Smith, of course, which, you know, he's the Pat Maroon of baseball right now. And then coming in 2nd place, another thing that might be a hot take, but I have the Detroit Tigers, who I think have a very solid outfield. I like Canna, Meadows, Green as their outfield. Baez can't be as bad as he's been, right? Like, he can't be. And then Keith is going to come up for them. I like Torkelson. Urshela was a fine ad. Rogers back there, I like him. I like Carpenter as well as their DH. And then you look at the rotation, they added Maeda, who I think is solid. Guys will take a step forward for them, and their bullpen's very underrated too, with the likes of Chafin, Foley. I really like this Tigers team, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to win the division. Maybe I'm being too high on the Tigers, but I do like that team. Coming in 1st place, though, it's the Minnesota Twins, who easily have the best pitching in this entire division with Lopez, Ryan, Ober, Paddock. Desclafani is going to be solid for them as a back-end piece. They have very good pieces in the bullpen with Duran, Jack, Stewart, and then you look at their lineup. Buxton, gotta stay healthy, but very solid there. Kepler, you like. Correa, I really like Julian. I think he's an underrated piece for them. Royce Lewis, very good for them, and then they have Vasquez as their backstop. I think they're easily the best team in the division, so that is my AL Central predictions there. We'll move on to the AL West, where I'm not even going to waste time with the last place team. It's easily the Oakland A's. They added JD Davis. Good for them. They added Miguel Andujar, who's had a good spring. Good for them. They have Stripling and Wood there now in the rotation. Cool. They're still the worst team in the division. I'm not even going to waste time on it. And you got to feel for Oakland A's fans. You really do. Coming in 4th place, I have the Los Angeles Angels. You subtract Ohtani from what's already a 4th place team, and it's going to be the same results. They didn't add enough to make me feel differently. Like, Stevenson's not moving them anywhere higher from 4th place. And then Anthony Rendon, is he going to play baseball? Who knows? Their lineup's not terrible in terms of the likes of Moniak, Trout, who's got to stay healthy, Rengifo, Neto, Ward. Like, they have some solid pieces, but it's always going to be the pitching with them. Like, they added Zach Plesac. I don't know. I'm not high on the Angels at all. And it's also more testament to how good the top 3 is, which is where it gets interesting. I have the Seattle Mariners in 3rd. And originally, I kind of slept on this team when I was writing up my predictions. And I don't know why. Like, I really do like the makeup of this team. I like bringing back Haniger. He's got to be better than he was last year. Polanco, I think, is such a good ad. France will be better. Crawford's a good shortstop there. Rojas at third base, solid piece there. J-Rod's going to be an MVP candidate for them. I like the addition of Luke Raley. Garver, Raleigh, in terms of their backstops there, very solid. And then you look at their pitching, I like Castillo a lot. I like Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, Wu. Like, what a 5 right there. And then their bullpen as well is very solid. I think they're the third best team in the division. I do have them in the postseason, by the way. Coming in second, though, I have the defending world champions in the Texas Rangers. And I do think that they are very solid, of course. Like, you look at Seager, as long as he's healthy, of course, too. What a player right there. You got Marcus Semien up the middle, just unbelievable talent there. And then they have Young, who's going to be playing for them. Evan Carter's going to be have a full year for them. They have guys like Garcia. And then you look at who else. Langford's going to come up for them and make a big impact. They have Nathaniel Lowe. You look at their bullpen. Leclerc. They added David Robertson, who's solid for them. Yeah, the pitching is probably the question mark there with Evaldi, like the starting pitching, that is. Evaldi, Gray, Dunning, Heaney, and then Scherzer will come back. I didn't even know they added Michael Lorenzen. I must have missed that. DeGrom maybe comes back for them. Molly's also going to be there in the mix. I think the Texas Rangers, if they found a way to do it last year, that lineup is so lethal. I think they're going to do it again this year, and that's why I have them second in the division. And then we move on to the first place team, and it's the Houston Astros. Everybody hates them, but they're going to do it. It's the Houston Astros. That lineup is scary, as always. You got Abreu, who's got to be better than he was last year, right? Altuve, you know what you're going to get. Pena's got to take a step forward. Bregman is going to be good. McCormick, solid there. Kyle Tucker, very good. Jordan, very good. Their rotation, Valdez, Javier, Verlander, Brown, Urquidy. They have France, who will give them starts. McCullers will give them starts. And they add Josh Hader to that bullpen that's already disgusting with Presley and Abreu. Yeah, the Astros are the first place team. It's not even a conversation. So we'll move on now to the National League. And in last place with the NL East, since I'm going to start there, I have the Miami Marlins. I am not sold on this team. Their rotation is really not good without Alcantara there. They have Luzardo, who I think is solid. Garrett will be solid. Cabrera, not really good. Cabrera doesn't move me. They have Rogers, not moving me. Yuri Perez is going to be hurt. If he could get back on the mound, will help them a lot. Puck, they're going to stretch him out to be a starter. Okay. Their bullpen is meh. Their lineup, I really do not like. I like Berger and I like Arias, but outside of that, Bell will be solid. Chisholm will be okay. De La Cruz won't be bad, but I mean, I don't know. I don't like Tim Anderson, and I do feel a lot of what the Marlins did last year. I'm not buying into it. I'm not buying into the Marlins. I'm not falling for what they did last year. I have them in 5th place. Coming in 4th place, I think this team's going to be underrated. I have the Washington Nationals. I underrated like their team in terms of their lineup. I like Ruiz a lot. CJ Abrams was starting to look impressive last year. He's going to take a step forward. Cruz should make an impact for this team at some point. I like Lane Thomas. I like Victor Robles quite a bit. I like Meneses, who should be better. Stone Garrett's a solid piece. And then their pitching. I love Josiah Gray. I love Mackenzie Gore. Corbin, not great. I like Trevor Williams. And then their bullpen, I think, is underratedly sneaky good with Finnegan, Harvey, Floro. Yeah, I have the Nationals as the 4th place team. Coming in 3rd, my bias is going to kick in. I have the New York Mets, who I really think are going to surprise people. And maybe it's me drinking the Kool-Aid right now, but you look at the lineup in terms of them adding JD Martinez, which really lengthens things out. And then Nimmo, of course, is going to be up there towards the top. You have Lindor probably as the 2-hitter. Then it's going to be Alonso 3, Martinez 4. The rest of the lineup, I will admit, could have question marks with guys like Jeff McNeil, who do need the bounce back. Brett Beatty does need to take a step forward for this team. Alvarez, I'm not in question of. I think he's going to have a big impact. I think the biggest question that everyone has is the rotation, because Jose Quintana, what is he going to be? Severino's got to stay healthy. Minaya, I think he's going to be a very solid piece for them. Hauser will be solid. And then Sango, when he comes back, will be good. I do like Tyler McGill, but not enough to where, again, he'll be a back end of the rotation piece. But the bullpen, I think, is a very underrated part of the team with Diaz, Ottavino, Raley, Smith, Diekman, Lopez. I think that the Mets bullpen is structured very well. So I have them in 3rd place. Again, maybe I'm biased, but that's just me. Coming in 2nd in the division, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. I think that they're going to do their thing where they're going to be very good in the regular season, but come playoff time, that's when they'll really shine, which spoiler alert for that. But when it comes to this Phillies team, I really love what they have. I mean, how could you not love Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, and then Sanchez as their rotation? Taijuan Walker, yikes there, but their lineup is just, it's one of the best in baseball. And I hate saying it as a Met fan, but it's the truth. Like, they have one of the best lineups, and if Rojas could take a step forward for them in the lineup, that's going to make it scary. And I think their bullpen's very underrated. I hate gassing up the Phillies as much as a Met fan, but it's the truth. They're coming in second. Coming in third, I have the in first, I meant I have the Atlanta Braves. That'd be crazy if the Braves finished third. As a Met fan, I would love it, but they're not going to because they're good, unfortunately, as for my sake. But yeah, I mean, Olsen, Albies, Arcia, and then Austin Riley. They have Acuna, Harris, Kelenic. Maybe they could get something out of him. Ozuna. That lineup just scary. And then Sean Murphy too. How could I not mention him? Their rotation: Strider, Fried, Morton, Chris Sale. Maybe will be something for them. And then their bullpen is still good. They're the first place team, and I hate it, but they are. We'll move on though to the NL Central. In last place, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates, which I don't hate this team that much, but I think they're still a year away from truly taking the next step forward. I like O'Neal Cruz, who's going to come back, of course. Brian Hayes, solid player there. Tellez could swing the stick. Davis he's got to take a step forward, right? They add Grandal, which, I like Brian Reynolds. The question's really for me, the pitching. The starting pitching outside of Keller is kind of just a bunch of question marks. Their bullpen, Bednar, they added a role to Chapman. Outside of that, a bunch of question marks. I do like Holderman as a Met fan, but I don't know. I think the Pirates are still a bit away from being a team that takes the next step forward, so I have them in fifth. Coming in fourth, I do have the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't think they could be as bad as they were last year, right? But I also don't think they're that good. Like, they brought back Matt Carpenter. I do love the addition of Sonny Gray. He's got to be on the mound, but I like the addition there. Kyle Gibson will be a solid piece for them as well. But again, like, the lineup, it's got to be better than it was last year, right? Like, Jordan Walker surely takes a step forward. Mason Wynn makes an impact for them. I don't know. I think the Cardinals will be solid, but fourth place still. Coming in third, I was tempted to put this team lower in the standings, but it's the Milwaukee Brewers, who are banking on upside with this team, but they do it every year. That I can't sleep on them. Like, it's hard for me. They're like the Rays of the NL. It's hard for me to sleep on them despite not having the best roster on paper. They have Churrio's going to come up and be a piece for them in center field. I don't even know if I said his name right. I might have said Cheerios for all I know. I'm so tired right now making this video. But I do like Frelick. I like Terang. Adames, okay. I like the addition of Rhys Hoskins a lot. Christian Yelich is the sure bet of that lineup. Their pitching is probably what's in question for a lot of people, but because now they don't have Corbin Burns, but I still like their rotation a lot, and it's the Brewers. They'll make something out of nothing. I have them there. And then coming in second place, I have the Cincinnati Reds. It might be a hot take, but I love the young players they have coming up. I really, really like the pitching as well under Wrigley. I think Ashcraft, he's going to be better shortly. Lodolo, he's got to be on the mound. I think he'll be solid for them. I don't know. Something about the Reds does intrigue me. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's because they did so good to start off last year, and I just really like that lineup. I have them in second place. Coming in first, though, the Chicago Cubs. They were so close to it last year, and I just think they're better than the Brewers. So last year, they added Imanaga to that rotation, which will help. I think they have an underrated rotation. I think their lineup is very good. I like their bullpen. But, yeah, and they brought back Cody Bellinger, and then they have guys like Pete Crow Armstrong. Surely he takes a step forward. Swanson, he'll be better corner. Very solid there. They have Bush as their first baseman. I think he'll be solid for them. But, yeah, I have the Cubs in first. Now we'll move on to the NL West. I'm trying to speed through this because I still have the awards and everything. Coming in last, the Rockies. Do I need to say any more? This team just stinks. The other teams are better. We're going to move on. In fourth place, if this was tough, deciding 2 through 4 was very tough. I'm doing it, though. I have the San Francisco Giants. Like, I love the addition of Snell. I like the Soler addition. I like Young Hoo Lee, but Something about this team I don't like. And then Matt Chapman, too. Decent ad there. I don't know. Something about the Giants I don't love. I wouldn't be surprised if they do sneak up the standings, but I have them in fourth place because I just feel the other two teams are better that I have ahead. Well, outside of obviously the unanimous number one team, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put them in fourth. If they do finish higher, though, I would not be surprised. But coming in third, I have the San Diego Padres, which I love what they did with adding Cease. I like Matsui. I like the depth that they added with the pitching with Wandy Peralta and then getting Michael King, Burrito, guys like that from the Soto deal. And they still have a very solid lineup despite losing Soto. Like, Machado can't have a down year again, right? Kim is solid for them. Bogarts will be better for them. Cronenworth, he's I mean, Tatis will be good. Merrill's going to come up and make an impact. I really like the Padres lineup still underrated despite losing Soto. I think they'll be third. Wouldn't be surprised if they finish higher. And then coming in second, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks, which they added Jordan Montgomery now to this rotation. That's going to be scary for them. And they were already good last year. And that lineup is just so underrated. Their pitching, in terms of the bullpen too, very underrated. I think the Diamondbacks will be good. I have them finishing in second. And then first, do I need to say anything other than it's the Dodgers? Like, they do it every year. They add Ohtani, Yamamoto too, which I know he's stunk it up for them in his first start, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Dodgers are the first place team, which I will say now my wildcard teams. I have the Yankees in the AL as wildcard 1. I have the Rangers as the wildcard 2 and the Mariners as wildcard 3. In the National League, I have the Phillies as the wildcard 1, the Diamondbacks as wildcard 2. And I'm going with the bias pick. I'm playing the Mets as the wildcard 3. Could it be the Padres? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but those are my wildcard teams. With the award winners for the National League Rookie of the Year, I still have Yamamoto despite his first start. With the AL Rookie of the Year, I have Langford. For the MVPs, I have Betts and Judge. For Cy Young, I have Wheeler and Lopez. And for reliever of the years, I have Diaz and Hader. I know, some boring picks in there, but they're my picks. We'll move on to the playoffs. Starting in the wild card round with the Mariners and the Twins. That's the first matchup. I have the Twins winning that. I have the Texas Rangers beating the New York Yankees in the wild card round. I'm going to be biased again. I have the Mets beating the Cubs in the wild card for the NL, and then I have the Phillies beating the Diamondbacks. I think they get the best of them there. We move on to the division round. I think that the Houston Astros will beat the Minnesota Twins in that series. I think the Baltimore Orioles will get the better of the Rangers in that series. And then with the National League, I think the Dodgers beat the Mets. My bias ends there. And then I think the Phillies beat the Braves yet again. They just seem to own them. Then we move on to the pennant. I have the Orioles beating the Astros in this one. Might be a little bit of a hot take. And then I have the Phillies beating the Dodgers in the pennant. And my World Series winner, and I want to vomit as a Met fan saying it, but I do have the Philadelphia Phillies winning the World Series. And hopefully it's a jinx. Hopefully I'm wrong. But they've just been creeping on the door every year. I would not be surprised if teams like the Dodgers, Braves, Orioles, Rangers, run it back, Astros, any of those teams could win. But I'm going with the Phillies because they've just been in it every single year. And I just feel like at some point they're going to just break through. And I feel like this will be the year. As a Met fan, it pains me to say. But let me know your thoughts on my predictions in the comment section down below. Tell me how much you hate it or maybe you love it. Leave a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys are new. Turn on your notifications so you know I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.